If you are looking to learn music theory, you are in the right place. Because yes, this is the first video of a series in which we are going to explore musical theory and we're going to learn how to apply it. And trust me, by the end of this, you will be able to practice and produce your own songs without any issues. I promise. Let's begin. Before we start, don't forget to check our channel for even more content like this. A like, a share and a subscribe would also be very helpful. And don't forget that your feedback is the best help that we can get. I'm waiting for it down below in the comments section. Let's get back to our video. So I'm going to divide this video in 3 main chapters: notes, chords and scales. These are pretty much the basics, the base of the pyramid of the music if you want. And if you understand them, everything is going to become much easier in the future. So let's begin with notes. In order to understand what a note is, we need to look a bit at the fundamentals. What is sound? Sound is basically vibrations. So if I take my guitar and if I... Basically the string is vibrating at a very fast speed, and this is how it produces sound. What you heard here is the note A. Now, based on the frequencies of the vibrations, notes have different sounds, and this is how they differentiate between them. Now, changing this frequency will give you different notes. However, there's a close relation between a certain set of frequencies and other sets of frequencies. We don't have unlimited notes. We only have, in fact, 12 notes starting from A ending in G. So if we look at this piano roll, we have note A right here, so this is the beginning, ending in note G. So if we start from A and take only the white notes, we're going to have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. However, these are only 7 notes. The other 5 notes are the black ones. So we're going to have A sharp or B flat, C sharp or D flat, then D sharp or E flat, F sharp or G flat, G sharp or A flat. So actually we can say that we start from A and ending in G sharp. Now these are the only 12 notes that we have. If you take a note, and its frequency basically, when you take that frequency and you double it, you get the same note but in a higher octave. So if you take A, which at some point in an octave is 440 Hertz, and you make that 880 Hertz, that's going to give you the next A in the next octave. So if you take this A here and you double the frequency, you will get this A. So in my case, this is A2, and we're going up to A3. This is how it basically works. Now let's move to chords. What is a chord? A chord is basically 2 or more notes played at the same time. Now, there are a lot of types of chords, but in this video we're going to discuss about the 2 main types, and probably the most used ones as well. We're going to talk about the minor and the major chords, and let me show you how we formed them. So, if you look here, I have C, and then E, and then G. If I play them at the same time, they're going to sound like this. This is what we would call a C major chord. It sounds joyful, happy if you want. However, if I take this E, and move it down 1 semitone or a half step, I'm going to get this. It sounds a bit darker, a bit sadder if you want. And we just move 1 note down a semitone. This is what we would call a C minor chord. So major chords, happy, joyful, and minor chords, darker, sadder, however you want to call them. Now, the way we form these chords, so let me go back to C major, is quite simple. Looking at this, you see that we can count the half steps that we take to get to the next note in the chord, So in my case, when I start from C, because this is the root note, I go down 1, 2, 3, 4 semitones, and I get E. Then 1, 2, 3, I get G. So this is how we get a major chord. We take the root note and then add 4 semitones, we get the second note of that chord, and then we add another 3 semitones and we get the third note of that chord. In the case of minor chords, it's going to be in reverse. So we add 3 semitones and then we add 4 semitones. And this is how we get major and minor chords. And we can form a multiple set of chords. Let me take A sharp, for example. Yeah, I'm going to form an A sharp major chord. I'm starting from A sharp, going 4 semitones up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is going to be D. Then I'm going to add 3 extra semitones, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3. And this is going to give me F. This is how an A sharp major chord sounds like. If I want to make it minor, I'm just going to take this D and going to C sharp. And this is how an A sharp minor chord sounds like. There are multiple types of chords, as I said before. We're going to explore them later on when we will get into more practical stuff. Yeah, like producing a song, making a melody, or stuff like this. So stay tuned and subscribe. Next and the last chapter of this video is scales. Now, a scale is a specific set of notes which are working well together. Normally scales have 7 notes, but we add an 8th note, which is the root note, but with the frequency doubled. So the scale would start with the root note and then end with the root note, but in the next octave. The easiest example that I can show people is the C major chord. This is like the classic. You heard it in a lot of places, a lot of time. C major chord only uses the white notes, starting from C and ending in C. So if I play it, yeah, so we start with C3 in our case and end in C4. So for now, think about it like this. If you want to produce something or practice something in a specific scale, use only the notes that are in that specific scale. We'll see in the future that we have scales which are working well together. We'll talk about it when we get to the circle of fifths, but for now, just stay in your scale. Yeah? As I said, a scale can have just a specific set of notes. In the same way, a scale can have just a specific set of chords. So we are in C major. Obviously I can form the C major chord. Yeah, I can do that. It only uses white notes. However, I cannot make it C minor because C minor is formed using C, D sharp, and G. D sharp is not part of C major scale, so it cannot be used. But taking the chords in a specific scale, in a specific order, can give you a very nice sound, as I did here. Take this as an example. So this is a simple chord progression. We're going to talk about them probably in the next video because there are a few popular combinations out there. This is why a scale is very useful, because if you take the chords in a specific scale and arrange them in a way to give sense to the music, the results will always be good. And then you can play with them. So I can take the third notes of each chord, yeah, lower them down by an octave, yeah, and get this. Then you can add additional notes which do not have to be part of any specific chord from that scale and add them like this. So I can take this, then this one, and you get a sound like. So yeah, you have a lot of room to play with. If you know the notes of a scale, or even if you're using a DAW like mine, which can lock all the notes that are in that specific scale, and it won't allow you to use any notes that are outside of that scale, then you're good. As long as you play and practice, you're going to learn new things every single day, and you're going to develop your own style. So what I would say, look on the internet, you can find cheat sheets for pretty much any scale out there. Anything that you saw here has been done using free stuff, by the way, apart from the DAW, but we're making a video about this subject as well with a free DAW which I found on the internet, and using this presence. And also, as I said, if you learn and understand these fundamentals, it's going to be very, very easy for you later on in this series. I promise you. So yeah, this should be your starting point, and this is the ending point of this video. I hope you liked it, and I hope you found it useful. Don't forget that I'm waiting for your feedback down below in the comments section. Don't forget to give us a like, a share, and a subscribe. It motivates us a lot and it helps us improve the quality of our videos. Until the next time, take care of yourself. Bye bye.